And here we go into set number 5. It looks like it's not going to be as epic and manly as Reach, but it's going to be the next best thing. Stats, the Protoss hero of KT Rolster, Flash's sidekick, coming out against Leta, the captain of CJ Antis. And I believe their top player in the in terms of win ratio this season. I will double check that. But anyway, Stats is no sloucher himself. He's 11-7. He was doing a lot better in the beginning of the season, but he kind of fell off a little bit towards the end. Let me just have a quick look. Leta is, yep, he's 11-4 this season. I think. Oh, I guess I'll show it on the screen in a second. But yeah, he is the top CJ player just in terms of statistics. There we go, 11-4, just 1-1 against Protoss. So doesn't have too many games there. Guess we'll see what he shows us here. The map is going to be Jade, where we basically only see PVTs or PvP and PvT or TVT. It's not a very Zerg friendly map, so pretty expected matchup here. And CJ is fighting to keep, or sorry, Leta is fighting to keep CJ alive. If they lose one more game, they will lose the match.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's a lot of pressure on Leta's shoulders right now. They did have a 3-0 winning record against Stats in the past, so that's always something. Hopefully he can use that to his advantage.
Indeed, indeed, and it looks like Stats will be the red Protoss in the bottom right. That would make Leta the blue Terran in the top right, I believe. There is Stats, minus his chin. There's Leta, who I'm sure will be doing many backflips and front flips if he wins this game.
Man, Leta should get a haircut.
Dude, like half of the pro gamers right now need a haircut, so I don't even care anymore.
Yeah, well, but when you have like hair in your eyes, you can't see the screen. It has to
Dude,
make the game a bit harder to play.
Leta does so many things that you'd think are detrimental. Like, is it really a good idea to be doing backflips right before the playoffs? Like, if you just trip and break your wrist, could you imagine? You're the #1 player on your team, you do a stupid ceremony, and you just, like, incapacitate yourself? Like, the coach should actually really tell him not to do that, I think. It's just not a good idea. Especially since Wunster is a troll and likes to trip him while he does it. Is that Zelos? Wait, is that Zelos?
Is it?
He looks a bit funny. He's got a weird haircut. I think that was Zealous though, and there were a lot of fangirls cheering, so I'm pretty sure it was him. It might be some other random pro gamer though, I might be getting him confused. I hope not, I'm gonna wait for the chat. Alright, looks like it is Zealous. Sweet. Zealous coming back to cheer on his old team here. Wait, was he on... Wait, he was on... Wait. Which team was he on? He was on KT, right?
I actually don't know. It was right before my time, so...
Yeah, it was before my time too. Anyways, I'm sure some angry fanboys in the chat will tell us. And it is going to be a 1-Rax expand from Leta. Versus... what, Gateway and Gas in the base for Stats. No indication yet of what he's doing. Oh, he's on CJ apparently. Okay. Yeah, whatever.
So, Leta is going for 1-Rax CC, right? Since he hasn't taken the gas and built the racks on the high ground. And 2 gates from Stats. I like that. I like 2 gating on maps that have your expansion on the high ground.
I was just going to say exactly that. You know, even though in the first game between Wookiee and Sky High, I did say 2-gate into expansion is not very common nowadays. However, on this kind of reverse round map, you can put on a lot of pressure with the initial Dragoons, even if the Terran is playing very safe. So yeah, good idea. And looks like we are gonna have a wall off here for Leta with the command center as part of the wall. It's quite cute.
I wonder if that is going to bite him in the ass later on when the Dragoons with the range come out.
Well, he's most likely going...
I guess he can just place a bunker in front of everything and just lift up the barracks later.
Yeah, I think he's going to do that. However, now that I think about it, that second gateway, did that actually go down before the pylon? Is this actually a 10-15 gate and I wasn't paying attention?
I was considering it, but I didn't see it, so
I
I'm
have a
not sure
feeling
either.
that this is actually a 10-15 gate. I'm going to have to see exactly what the Dragoon timing is when they come out. If it is a 10-15, the second and third Dragoon should actually pop out simultaneously. So that'll be a good indication. For those of you who don't know what a 10-15 gate is, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. Literally, you build your first gateway on 10 supply, you build your second gateway on on 15 supply, and you actually get your second gateway before your second pylon, which is unusual because it means you basically have to be cutting probes. It's more or less like just a Dragoon rush. You get 5 Dragoons out like as fast as possible while cutting a few probes here and there.
Yeah,
So
it's a build that Noni used to get to into the finals of Courage.
yeah, I mean, this used to be an extremely popular build on maps like, you know, Medusa or Longinus, which are like flat maps with wide chokes, the main and natural. So you can put, you can put on a ton of pressure with the Dragoons. I mean, there's a similar principle here. Obviously, with the 1-Rex expand, he is going to have everything on just the high ground there above his ramp. So there's some opportunity for stats to do some damage, but I don't know if this is necessarily the best idea. I mean, it's funny because we actually did see a Protoss, I think Jaehoon actually beat Leta with a 10-15 gate on Electric Circuit in the regular season, but as I was saying just now, Electric Circuit is a map much more similar to like Longinus or Medusa because it's completely flat. And this choke is relatively narrow as well here on Jade, so I don't know if this is going to work. He's attacking this bunker here. There's 5, I think 6 SCVs now repairing it. Leta just shuffling those around to the right side to make sure the Dragoons can't shoot them. But 6 goons coming in now. I think he's going to have to pull a couple more SCVs here. And it looks like he's going to go for it. He's running in. He's targeting the SCVs now. He's going to try and kill as many as he can and then run back and keep taking down the bunker. It looks like there's actually not that many Marines in this bunker because they're not really doing that much damage. And Leta might just die immediately. The first siege tank is out though. And that siege tank, I think, has barely saved Leta. Oh my god.
Yeah, congrats Leta, you're not going to die, but you lost 6 SCVs. That's a pretty big blow.
Slight correction, by the way. Apparently it was Tyson who beat Leta with a 10-15, not Jaehoon. But I always get those guys mixed up anyway. And Siege Mode is now finished, so this 10-15, I mean, he killed a couple of SCVs, but he has been cutting probes to do this. And he's actually following up with a double expand. It's so funny because that's like that's like 99% of the time what the Protoss does when they fail like a 10-15 gate. It's like, oh, let me just expand twice.
And I was actually thinking about that the last week, but where have all the double expanding gone? And now we see it done twice this series, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Well, it's really not. I mean, it's really not safe unless you get a Reaver and you have good Reaver control. He's doing it now because his attack failed and he has to catch up somehow. But you know, it's really not very safe. Like, you know, if Leta goes for a fast drop, which he is in fact doing, he can punish it quite easily. The Dragoon count is not going to be very high, and stats is going to be very spread out between his 3 bases. Now this is Jade, so the 3rd base is relatively close to your main, but you know, it's still pretty vulnerable to some good Vulture harass. And you know, after that Leta versus GG Amo game, I would say that Leta has fantastic Vulture harass. So yeah, a little bit concerned for stats right now.
Yeah, and it's knocked out with 4 speed vultures, and they have mines. And is it going to do some damage if he can only? Oh, actually, it's doing a great job with those dragoons. But still, mines are planted, and he has. Oh, he killed one of the vultures. But he gets positioned behind the natural. He will be able to kill a lot of probes. And I also think that he has 1 vulture in the main.
Wow, this did not do quite as much damage as I thought, but you know, he's got a few mines here still at the natural. I don't think he actually realized he could have killed that dragoon by attacking it. He had like 1 HP left or something. But yeah, it looks like the Obs is out now as well, and maybe he'll be okay. However, there's the control tower. Let's see what this drop can do. And it looks like it's going to be a 3rd command center as well. This is very interesting to me. So he's going for a drop and a 3rd command center now. He only has 2 factories, so obviously his unit count is not going to be very high, and he's going to be using most of his vultures to harass rather than, you know, support his siege tanks defensively. So I don't really, I mean, I think the idea here is, you know, he's not really going to be able to defend the third base as such. He's basically going to defend by attacking. He's going to be constantly harassing with his vultures and keeping the Dragoons at home, and that's how he's going to secure his third base. Because he doesn't actually have enough raw strength, I think, to actually take it safely. It's going to be one of those, you know, best defense is a good offense moments.
Yeah, that's probably what he's aiming for, but I feel that's a bit risky. Does he only have 3 siege tanks and he's trying to take a third base?
And it looks like, crucially, it's spotted by the observer. Sorry, go ahead.
It was pretty much finished anyway. These vultures has to do damage, or I think the economy of Stats is just going to be too great. The funny thing is, though, Stats has walled himself in. Oh, those probes can get through. Never mind.
Yeah, he did wall in both sides, though, so, you know, that it does mean that he's going to get denied mining a little bit longer than if he left a gap and his Dragoons could go in and save it. Looks like Leta did put 1 vulture into the main base, but that gets taken down pretty quickly. And those other Dragoons did actually end up killing their own pylon, so he's just going to go in here and clean up these vultures. Leta not going to be able to do any further damage. He only got a couple of probe kills. I mean, he did cause some lost mining time there, but I don't think that was necessarily worth it. However, as I said, if you look at the minimap, all of the Dragoons that were kind of pressuring the front there have been pulled back. So that has given Leta the opportunity to move out onto this wide ramp and float his third command center out. I hope he gets those sieges up in good positions before the Dragoons get back there. Otherwise, that would be a very unfortunate loss for him.
Yeah, but still I feel that Stats is just in great position with those 3 bases so early on, and now it's starting to take up as well. That Citadel is, of course, a bit late, but there's no way that Leta can attack anytime soon anyway, so I just feel that Stats is in a really good position.
Indeed. Well, looks like...
What do you think? Yeah, go ahead.
8 factories going up for Leta now. Look at that. Factory explosion. That is going to get spotted by the observer, though. So Stats should be adding on his own gateway count to match here. I think he does want to take a 4th base now that Leta's got his 3rd up, but he's got to be very careful how he balances it. If he takes a 4th base and builds too many probes and doesn't get his gateways up, then obviously Leta will be able to roll him over. But if he makes a bunch of gateways and doesn't get the 4th base up in time, then Leta's economy is going to be a little bit too strong. So he's got to strike a careful balance here, sending out his probe. I'm a little bit surprised Leta doesn't have a couple of vultures running out to snipe this. Oh, just as I say it, he does in fact have the vultures on the way here. There are a number of Dragoons to help defend it. Is it going to be enough? It looks like they will ward away those vultures, so this little probe guy is going to be defended here. Going to pylon wall in the small ramp there, the now ramp, and then wall in the top here. Looks like he's using a lot of pylon walls, which means that if you look at his supply, he's got a lot of excess supply. He's at 134 of 187. It's making his build slightly inefficient to have those extra pylons before he needs them, but it's not a huge deal, especially now that we're kind of entering the late game. That becomes less of an issue if you have a few extra pylons here and there.
Yeah, you can actually optimize your build if you don't need the units, then build a lot of pylons, but he has to be careful about any kind of attacks coming from Leta. And I was just about to ask before, what can Leta do to get into a better position in this game? I think those factories was a pretty good decision from him. Puts a lot of potential pressure on Stats.
Is it just me, or was that cybernetics core spinning? That can't. He's got Dragoon range, right? Is he getting +1? I could have sworn that cybernetics core was spinning. Either way, looks like Leta's moving out now. Zealot leg speed as wow, only just finished, barely in time to stop the attack. But yeah, I mean, I think the 8 factory thing is a good idea. You know, he does have his 3 bases. It is a little bit trickier to secure the 4th on this map. So he is just going for the push. I don't really like the timing of this attack, though. He's got +1 attack, but not that many units, and looks like Stat's going to get a really nice position. Some Zealots actually even coming in from the flank, and oh my god, huge storms on everything! Stats channeling his inner Jangbi and completely annihilates Leta's army. Oh my god, the 4 High Templar and that shuttle. I didn't even have time to point out earlier, but we did see the Templar archives with no Stargate. That did mean he was going for the Storm Tech rather than the Arbiter Tech, and Stats is crushing the attack, and now Leta's got to be dead. I mean, there's no way for him to defend his 3rd. I don't even know if he can defend his natural. He's sending in a few vultures to counterattack, but Stats is just going for it here. Stats is going to close out the series. Leta's in a must-win situation, but he is not going to win this game. Wow.
Not at all. Why did he push out during that timing? As you said, that was not the best decision I've seen from him. I guess he felt pressure since he was behind on the third base, but same time, that push was just way too thin, and as those storms landed, there was not much left.
I think what might have happened is Leta knew that when Stats saw the gateway explosion and the fact that Leta had a third base up, he might try to play a bit risky, get his fourth base up, and have a delay his own gateway count slightly, and he was trying to find a timing window where Stats was taking his fourth base, but he didn't have his own production up just yet, and he could do a big push. But unfortunately for him, Stats did have his production up, and that is the game. Ladies and gentlemen, KT Rolster taking down CJ 4-1, and what seems to be a pretty easy victory here. And, well, they're going up 1-0. Now, do keep in mind, CJ's not out yet. This is a best-of-3 matches. So, we are going to see the second match tomorrow. It's going to be another best-of-7, and that is going to be a must-win for CJ. If CJ can win that, then we will go to a third and final match on Tuesday. Otherwise, if KT takes it, then that's going to be that.
Yeah, this match here was basically came down to those two CVCs. That should have been wins for CJ, and they couldn't close it out those games. And KT very, very comfortably taking a 4-1 victory. So looking good for KT.
Oh, we have some interesting comments from the chat. Since the cybernetics core was spinning, apparently Stats was faking +1 and faking carriers essentially, and forced Leta to go for a push there. Well, that kind of makes sense. Okay, so I wasn't crazy, so I did see the cybernetics core spinning, but I actually just assumed that was a mistake. Apparently Stats was pulling off some sick mind games there. Huh, cool.
That does make sense. Good point.
I'm a little bit confused by that though, because wouldn't you think that he would also be able to see the gateway